What's going on, guys? Welcome to the TapRoom, my first video podcast. This is going to be a new continuing trend on this channel. It's going to be video podcasts on YouTube and then audio podcasts wherever else you get your podcasts. So Spotify, hopefully Google Play and iTunes. And this is going to be brought to you by Anchor.fm. And so let's get right into it with the first episode for the video podcast. In the tap room, we got Joe Barrett, who is a professional paintball player who plays for Sacramento DMG here in the local Sacramento area. Joe Barrett is a enjoyer of beer, so he sat down with me and we drank some Belching Beaver Peanut Stout, which is his favorite beer. And we sit down and talk about his paintball journey and everything he's gone throughout his paintball career. It's a very interesting story. I suggest you guys give a listen to how he's gone through growing up through New York and now ending up to where he's traveling around the world to play paintball. First, I'm just going to apologize. There's some technical difficulties throughout this podcast. This was my first time recording and recording video and audio at the same time. So some stuff got a little wonky. There's some background noise in the beginning of it. And in the middle of it, we got called away to do an award ceremony because we were doing this at a paintball tournament. And then we were joined by Joe Barrett, Tim Brusselback, and Dave Vasquez. So if two random people pop up on the screen and pop up and are sitting there with us, that's what happened. But it's mostly Joe Barrett's. It's the Joe Barrett show at this point. He's talking about his journey and everything he's gone through throughout his paintball career, and I found it really interesting. I think you guys will too. And yeah, so this will be the first of many taproom interviews with just different people that I find interesting, and then we'll also have the taproom reviews that are also on the channel. So yeah, give it a listen. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, comments, all that good stuff. All right, guys, thanks. Audio. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tap Room podcast, where I go around talking to interesting people from interesting places. I'm joined today by Joe Barrett, pro paintball extraordinaire, world traveler, rave kid, I can say. Looking through your Instagram,
you could say.
Yeah. So how you doing, man?
Doing very well.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. We got some good beers here. We're drinking.
Belching Beaver Peanut Milk Stout, my favorite beer.
Yep. I had a sneaking intuition about this. Sorry about the late start. We got a little bit of a late start here. I was running late this morning. So, but yeah, man. Happy to have you on. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
All right, man. Let's get started here. So you just got back from Mexico, right?
I did.
How was that?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I played the last event of the season in Guadalajara, Mexico.
Yeah.
It's always just a riot down there. We call Mexico the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
The events always operate a little bit off time. You know, you're supposed to start at 8:30. You're probably not having captain's meeting until 9 o'clock, starting at 10.
Yeah.
You have to shoot the living hell out of people for them to get out, or else they'll just do big run-throughs.
Yeah.
So, it's a little bit more lawless, but it's a fun atmosphere. People are competitive, of course. They're there to win, but more than anything, they're there to have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, they'll have beers after their games, margaritas, micheladas, and stuff. So it's more, just getting together. It's kind of like a fiesta.
Yeah. You know, I've always I see it on Instagram. I see it all over the internet. I watch videos. And I'm always jealous. I haven't played any international events. I've only played national, and that's about the most partying I do. But those are
top level. You gotta take it serious. I don't drink until like Sunday after finals and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it looks fun. Like I've seen like I don't know if you've heard of you know Josh Nubius.
I know him well.
Yeah.
He used to live in Florida, and he would come out and play against me and the Damage guys all the time.
Oh yeah, when he was on Strange.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was. I don't know if you remember Doom Troopers at all. I don't know if you met Doom Troopers.
I don't think I have.
TKO.
TKO I knew well.
Okay, yeah, I played with those guys for a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah, when I was living down there, I lived in Florida for like 3 years, from like 07 to 2010. Then I moved back home and came out here.
Yep.
So
that's cool. Yeah, that's where Elias, Jacob Edwards, Keith Brown, all those guys came from TKO.
Yeah, yeah. I remember because like one of my personal claim to fame is I'm on there's a D2 roster. It's me, Keith Brown, Jacob Edwards, and a bunch of other killers for Damage. And I was like, damn it, I just would have stuck with it.
Yeah.
Stuck with it. I went through hard times with it. Ended up homeless and stuff like that. I had to go home. But yeah, anyway, enough about me. Tell us about yourself, man. Where are you originally from?
I'm born and raised in Buffalo, New York.
Okay, New York kid.
Yeah, about 5 minutes from Niagara Falls. It was basically in my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after a while, you almost take it for granted that you can just walk down the street and have a beer at Niagara Falls.
That sounds pretty. That does sound pretty nice. I've only been in New York once, and I was in the city because I'm a tourist. So
anytime I say I'm from New York, everybody always says, "Oh, the city, the Big Apple." It's like that's not even real New York. Like New Yorkers don't consider that New York. That's its own separate state, basically.
That's
but
its own thing.
Mainland New York is like 6 hours wide, a lot of cities.
Mm-hmm.
Western New York is basically the tundra of the United States.
Yeah.
You're between two Great Lakes, so it gets down to like negative 35 degrees, 6-foot snow drifts. It's painful.
Nope. I refuse. Well, real quick, I just want to apologize for the background noise. We are coming to you live from Capitol Lake Paintball Park. People are playing paintball around us, so mind the background noise. I'll try to edit it out, but it's probably not going to work. But yeah, I don't do cold.
Same.
I can't stand it. One of the other places I could have gone for my job is I could have gone to North Dakota. They got to negative 70 last year.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? No, I'm okay. I don't need this in my life. And is that what drove you to move or kind of like explore?
It's half the reason, honestly. My entire life since like 10, 11 years old, so 2/3 of my life basically, I knew I wanted to play professional paintball.
Okay.
Playing paintball in New York kind of has a ceiling to it. There's only so many competitive teams. There's very, very few teams that even play nationally.
Yeah.
And when the Philly Americans and Smart Parts went defunct in 2008, the end of 08,
Yeah.
there was now no longer a pro team to aspire to get on.
Yeah.
New York Extreme has only just had a resurgence in the past few seasons.
Yeah.
So when I was living in New York, my options, which I started doing to play even divisional paintball, were traveling 8 to 10 hours west to Detroit or Chicago, or traveling 5 to 9 hours east to either New Jersey or Maryland for Revel or 187.
Oh, wow.
There were no other options, and I did a lot of seasons of that where I'm the only guy in all of Buffalo that played national paintball for a few years. Everybody else plays locally and regionally.
Yeah.
And you know, I love this game, but after about 5 seasons of getting in the car by myself, no one to keep me company or switch on and off when I'm tired, driving out Friday night after work to some place across the region, playing all Saturday, Sunday, and then Sunday getting back in the car and driving back like shot, just super tired.
It's rough.
It'll start to burn you out. So, you know, by the end of that, I think it was right when I was about to graduate college. I knew I was going to move to Florida and try out for Tampa Bay Damage.
Yeah.
I did exactly that. I waited until college ended. A few days later, moved, drove myself down, waited there like 9 months, living in just like the worst crack house ever in central Auburndale.
Yeah.
Literally like $100 a month rent. All of my neighbors up and down the street are like meth junkies. There's people, you know, you hear car alarms and broken windows every single night. Just people getting their stuff broken into. If I left a pair of Walmart tennis sneakers for running on my front porch, they were gone the next day.
Yeah.
Like $7 sneakers are getting stolen.
Yeah.
So the kind of area that I dealt with for like about 9 months, and then I ended up not making the last round of cuts. So moved back home to New York. Ironically, I get back to New York and Static, another Florida semi-pro team, told me, hey, we want you to play with us. So I played with them from afar, just to practice with them for 9 months. They're like, we know you can play. You can make it 2 events. You can jump there with us.
Okay.
And then Syracuse Rhythm, like a legendary team named Rhythm, Buddy Bauer, the Titman Effect coach and longtime pro player, brought it back and put the Syracuse name on it. So then I went from Static to Rhythm, and then eventually New York Extreme. After another 4 years of that, like more just D1 semi-pro in the Tundra, I was like, all right, I gotta get the hell out of here. So, weird story, you might not even know about this, but I have moved here once before now. So at the end of 2015, I want to say, I drove across the middle of the country in a blizzard by myself to California, ended up sleeping on Josh Hallberg's couch for a month, and then Damage called me. And now I'm on their radar. They saw me play, 4 more seasons of semi-pro. I'm consistently on the Sunday court field with whatever team. And, I got myself in a lot better shape. When I tried out for them, I was like 240. Now the new, like, enhanced semi-pro version of me is like 180 and, like, fast. So they were like, hey, they were in that rebuilding time where they have a bunch of rookies. They're lacking a lot of their veterans, and they're like, hey, we don't know what you're doing next season. We can't have you live across the country and play for us, but if you pack up and get here before the season starts, you're welcome to come into the Damage organization. So told all the DMG guys, and, real friends are supportive of you, whether you're serving their purpose or not. So I'm sure they wanted me to play with them, but they were all like, man, you can't miss that opportunity. That's been your dream team since you were a kid. Since they went pro in like 09, you should do it. So I packed all my stuff back in the trunk of my Ford Taurus and drove back across the country down the southern route through Texas, made it to Florida 3 days later, and started playing with Damage in 16 and 17.
Wow. That's crazy, man. Because, like, I remember when I was playing with TKO, I drove back. I had moved back to Georgia, and I told the owner, Ginny, and I was like, hey, man, I still want to play. I'll make the drive. I think I did that drive twice. And I was like, you know what? I'm good. Like, our local paintball scene was, like, mostly scenario players. A couple guys knew what natural paintball was, and they're like, oh, yeah, man, I'm a tournament player, blah, blah, blah. And all they played were, like, local events, which is okay for me. It suited my needs. And then I joined the military, came out here, and then I got on... I played with Chim on Coconuts for one event.
I remember that too.
And then I got on the DMV, and I've been here ever since. So that's crazy. That's a crazy story. How many times have you driven across the country?
I've driven across and back 6 times now. Mostly by myself, but I've done it twice more since moving here. One time with my roommate Brandon Nickerson, and one time with our new semi-pro player Ben Challenger. He needed the ride across, and I was like, man, I know how rough that ride is from doing it alone myself 3 times. So, I'll fly back to Buffalo. You come down from Canada to Buffalo. We'll spend a few days there, and I'll help you drive across just so you can switch. So that was exactly what I did. I did it one time back. You remember that last PSP West Coast Open in Riverside? So one time I drove to Chicago, met up with the Project Mayhem and Boot guys, and then drove with them in a rental car with a trailer pulling 60 gear bags to save everybody who was flying their gear bags. And we drove across the country in a rental Suburban together to Riverside, and then drove back. I got in my car in Chicago, drove back home to Buffalo.
You are hardcore, let me tell you. You are. Like, I will say, like, throughout, like, since getting to know you, you're one of the most hardcore paintball guys I've ever met. Like, it's like you, Ronnie D's on, it's because, like, I just follow his vlogs, and, like, and Ben, honestly, because Ben drove down from Canada for a long time just to, like, random teams. And I saw him at events all the time, and I'm like, I just met him, like, last year, and he's a great guy. And like, you guys are some of the most paintball nerdy people I've ever met. That is compliment.
In certain areas, like, I think that people don't get, it's not to their fault, but people don't realize how good you have it in places like California, Texas, and Florida. In the big regions where there's a massive population of paintball players, and there's dozens and dozens of fields, and you get summer all year round. Not that you're destined to play pro, but as long as you stick with it, the only way you won't go pro is if you give up too soon. That's what I always tell people. The only people who don't make it are the ones who quit too early. In the Northeast or Chicago, places where 6 months of the year you're in snow and you're risking driving and spinning out in snowstorms to get to some dark lit half-size indoor field to do some drills, you have to be borderline crazy obsessed to make it even to the semi-pro level. Because just most people, even if they really love the game, they just quickly do the risk to reward and they go, man, there's so much more I could do with my money. Do you want to stop this order? He's probably going to do his award ceremony. Just pause this? Yeah, you probably always edit this part out.
I got it. All right, we're good. Yeah, we can do that. Award ceremony.
I'll remember where we left off. But yeah, that's no joke how it is. Like, people don't realize how many weeks in a row without literally 7 years of my life didn't miss a weekend, and half of that year each time is driving in like whiteout storm. You're like, I'm not sure I'm gonna make it to fucking practice. You spin out in the thruway and somehow straighten back out. You're like, I'm gonna fucking die one of these days, but I have to get to practice.
The fact that like that will be fine. The fact that like guys like I watch a lot of YouTube, right? I watch a lot of paintball videos. I see all this stuff of like guys from Aftershock, doing all these guys. It's like literally driving through the snow to get to an indoor field that like kind of sucks. Like it was like that is the most dedicated. Like that made me feel ashamed that I didn't want to get in my Honda Civic, drive 4 hours to Orlando just to practice. And like, granted, it was D3, and then like at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm good. Because I had a buddy, he played for Gridlock, and he drove from my town up 4 hours to North Carolina to go to Gridlock practice, and then he was on the cusp of getting on the trauma and trauma therapy. And he's like, well, I'm not driving down to Florida and like work my way up again, so he just quit. He was over it.
And that happens to some people. That happened to me 2 or 3 different times where I was like, starting to get known by the veterans in my area, and then a team would fold, or whatever thing would happen. It's like back to stage 1, and the 4 or 5 friends around me would all drop out, or one by one would drop, until soon enough it was just me. And it's like, I don't know that maybe I might quit the year before I make it. And all I ever wanted to do is become a pro paintball player, not just to be the best in play.
What did I tell you?
This is a good grab. Man.
Second. You want to flip the camera around?
He's a DM.
No, because it's in the sun.
Good. All right, sorry for technical difficulties. We're back now. Now we got 3 guests now. We got Joe Barrett, Dave Vasquez, and Tim Brusselback. Everyone's pro except for me and Vasquez, so it doesn't matter. So back to what we were just saying. What were we talking about right before we had a break?
I think just being obsessed with paintball to get out of the divisional bubble in the Northeast. It's an uphill battle. Like anybody in the Northeast or like the Midwest snow area knows this, but all y'all who are spoiled with all year round summer paintball in Cali, Texas, and Florida don't really know what it means to have to commit to practice 8+ hour drives away every single weekend. And it used to get me upset when I moved to Florida because I lived only like an hour away from CFP, and sometimes we didn't have teams willing to come to us to play us, but we had Miami Rage only about 4 hours south in the Miami area. And I'd be like, all right, guys, here's our options. We can either stay here and beat the living hell out of our D2 and 3 teams, or we can sack up and take a few hour drive down to Miami and get a quality practice. And they're all spoiled, so they're like, no, why would we do that? We got CFP right in our backyards. Let's just stay here and practice.
Sounds like DMG.
And then we'd have a terrible practice where we wouldn't lose a point all day. And it's like, great, we're winning the practice cup, and we've learned nothing today.
Good.
And they all complain and whine, and I get it. It depends on your priority levels. If you have a family and kids that you want to be able to leave and go right back to them immediately after practice, but from me and all the guys who were grinding and cutting our teeth in semi-pro trying to get out of it, we're used to dude, we would do this drive, if not double this, by ourselves, and we can't just all hop 4 of us in a car and take a few hour drive to play 2 days a few hours away here in sunny Florida. This isn't even a big deal. So it's a different mindset, but the strong survive, you know what I mean? And I grew up with a dad who was a dream chaser and a couple mentors in my area, my old coach buddy and all these guys. And if there was anything I ever learned that became like, you know, a motto in my own head, not something I'd really say, but something I tried to live by, is like, don't live with a what if. And I feel like that's the only reason I ever really made semi-pro and pro teams. Is I don't think I was naturally very talented. I was terrible at paintball for my first few years. I wasn't athletic until I was 22. But when everybody else would, you know, get down to like those decisions of like, oh, it's not mandatory practice, all right, I'd rather not drive in the snow. Or, oh, there's practice, but there's a sweet frat party tonight, maybe I'll show up a little bit late hungover, or maybe not at all. To me, it was black and white. Like, the decision was, is this going to help me go pro? No, then I'm not doing it. Is it going to help me go pro? Yes. Okay, then I have to do it. And it made it very simple, you know?
Yeah, that's, like I said, that's better than me, because I wouldn't make a 4-hour drive to get down to practice. I was like, nah, I'm over it. No, I don't need it.
Too bad you didn't have a twin, Nick and Aaron. Those guys would wake up at 3 a.m. after partying and still drive everyone to practice. I just would fall asleep after partying in the car, wake up at practice. We're here, huh?
That would have been nice. In my teenage years, I had those guys. I had these group of guys who I played with since we were little kids on our first team, Tsunami Force, to regional teams around New York or the Northeast, to our first D3 team. But as we broke into like that 16, 17, 18 area, all of a sudden it's like you'd see them break off for each of the reasons where it's like totally justifiable. I can't fault them. Like, all of a sudden one gets a girlfriend. Needs to have more time balance at that. Another one gets into a frat. It's like, well, now I know that kid's going to be opting for frat parties and, you know, that side of life, and paddles and girls over this. And one by one, they were all picked off until, like, I was the last one. And I feel like there's two different groups in professional paintball. There's the ones who are raised and bred in camps of pro teams, and they are taught by great pros or pro coaches. And as long as they don't quit early, they're going to be on those pro teams. I know and play with a bunch of them. I played against them. There's those kids, you know, like that had their parents' support, or like they came from a wealthy family, and it's like, if they're not making it, it's sheer laziness because they have all the resources. And then there's all the crazy blue-collar kids that were just like, I am doing this no matter what. I'm going to chase this thing as far as I can down the rabbit hole because I'm either going to make it, or if I don't make it by the time I'm 35, whatever. There's still plenty of time to get that career job or go back to school or whatever. And I can think of all those kids who are currently in the pro league. You know, that there's a few of them that they live out of Sprinter vans, or they're still couch surfing, or whatever it may be. But the point is, they reach that dream. And now they can begin focusing on adding the balance in the other parts of their life, because at least they checked off that thing that gave them completion, like satisfaction. So the rest of their life, they're not like, man, I'm living good, I got the family, I got the sweet job, but what if? What if I would have just stuck it out and did that 1 or 2 more seasons? Who knows? Maybe I would have gotten that pro team. I never ever wanted that.
It was my, I retired this past season. So, and then this season, these semi-pro fucks decided to do good and get second. I was like, God damn it. But no, it's all good. That's crazy. So now you're playing on DMG.
Yep.
Yeah. How'd you guys do last season?
We did well.
Yeah.
You know, as far as overall, I don't even think we were 10th place this time. We lost 1 or 2 matches more than we won because we were about 50-50 all season, but then we made 2 Sundays. So by losing those next 2 matches, we're less than 50-50. You know, I'm never satisfied with not winning. But big picture, like, I am, you know, I at least can, like, stand back and be like, well, it's a process. You know what I mean? You can't just expect to bump up as a rookie and just walk into wins and events. So as long as we're making progress, I'm at least happy with that. And first year, you know, we came in and did well. We had a bunch of 2-2 bubble events, and we made 1 Sunday at World Cup. This year, we made 2 Sundays, and both times we made it out of our bracket decisively 3-1. So I can already see that our team is on the right track as far as growth. I think people thought we were going to do terrible this season because we lost, you know, our homie Tim Brussel back here, who's easily on any given day top 5 snake players in the league, and that was our biggest hit. And we also lost Thomas Kim to Ireland, who was, at the time I came in, kind of like the player, captain, leader of the team.
Yeah.
So people are like, man, you just lost one of your better role players and the guy who's like making the calls, and you lost one of the most vicious, creative, sneaky snake guys in the game. You guys are probably going to have a rough season. And I think we all, we took that first event to reestablish our roles and find our groove as the current roster.
Mm-hmm.
We brought the 2 rookies, Dylan and George, up to speed. We grabbed Urena, a second event in, who's a helpful attacker to begin molding into the spot that we need to take Tim's place. And we prevailed. We continued making steps forward, and a lot of that was just. I think our biggest thing is we're all friends. We all hang out off the field, whereas a lot of these teams only ever see each other on weekends.
Mm-hmm.
So our chemistry, our teamwork, our communication is excellent.
Yeah.
And when points get long and slow, even against veteran teams, we're generally very controlled. We have a few veterans with me, Josh, and Shane.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of fast, explosive young talent. So there's really no lack in potential on our team.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, it's just we need to make 10 more Sundays to get used to that Sunday pressure once you're playing against those top 6 level teams that have been there for, 15 years now?
Yeah, it's really the same. Well, I've noticed it's been the same, 3-4 teams consistently make Sunday.
Yep.
And it's, and I always root for the underdog. And not saying, well, granted, you guys are my homies and everything, but, you guys are the underdogs going into there. And, honestly, I was pleasantly surprised this season because I did think in my head, it was these guys might have a rough season. They just lost, Tim, who's been, when you watch the webcast, that's all they talk about. They talk about Tim and Thomas. That's all they talked about the entire time. And then it's these guys lost, and, you lost these 2 guys. And then, literally watching the webcast, all you heard was, no, I don't think they actually needed them. First event was, a little rough. It was like that, all right, we've done all this practice, now let's try to put it together. And then, as the events went on, you guys started to see more. It was, the fact that you hang in there with, veteran teams, it wouldn't surprise me at all. And I honestly was, I think I was just, the only fanboy on the webcast in Dubai when I was over there, because, I was the only one screaming. And, what happened? I was don't worry about my boys did good. That's all that mattered.
Yeah.
So it was just.
I appreciate it.
I was trying to send good vibes mentally through the computer. So yeah.
I mean, we're a very studied team. I'd say aside from AC, Dallas, and Russians, there's not a lot of teams that practice as much as us, just because most of us live a few miles from the field. And we all do our homework. We all watch webcasts. We all scout in the stands, things like that.
Yeah.
We're a nerd team, earlier, and you have to do every bit of preparation just to give yourself that slight edge to hang with these teams that are on paper better than you, have talented money players.
Mm-hmm.
But our team we're not a flashy style team. We're not an aggressive, run into your face, aftershock or infamous type team.
Yeah.
We're not a hardcore sit AC team. We're not a creative, superstar, flashy team. But we are controlled. We do have a lot of guys with high-level gun skills. And when we are actually all connecting and talking and playing as one cohesive unit, all it takes is one mistake from those veteran teams, and we can beat anybody. You know.
Oh, it's been shown throughout this past season. I think next season you guys are going to do. You're gonna. I see you guys becoming this next season. I can kind of see you kind of being a Revo. They're consistently on Sundays. Granted, they don't make the They're not consistently making semis and stuff like that, but they're consistently there.
Yes.
And then they can hang with the best of them. It's literally 1 or 2 mistakes throughout the match that just ruins it for them.
Yep.
So I see that as the next step for you guys.
That's our next goal. Me and Josh have already talked about that. It's basically a 5-year plan until you're one of those teams that's winning or playing for wins. And me and Josh were just talking about this the other day. We're what's our realistic goal next year? Let's just be a Sunday team. And if one of the times we happen to break first round and we're top 6 or top 4 and make a podium out of the 5 of them, great. But let's be a team that's consistently making it out of our bracket.
Yeah.
We went from 1 Sunday to 2 Sundays. Now we know what to do to get out of there or to beat those teams that people on paper would take, Infamous or Thunder, whoever over us. So if we can just be in 5 Sundays next year, then mission accomplished.
Yeah.
And the next year, hopefully, we're getting a top 4 or 2.
Hang on to your players.
Yeah. Which I'm happy about because as of right now, we've all been talking in the group chat and, at our house and stuff like that. and all 8 of us are staying. There's nobody planning on going anywhere else. We're not particularly looking at anybody. We may grab another guy, depending on how this conversation is going. But we at least get to keep the consistent core, which is nice. Because, you know, if you're constantly trying to figure out who you're... Coming into this year, we had 4 core guys remaining. Like, I was only 1 year into the team, and all of a sudden it was Marv, Shane, Josh, and basically me, because I was a starter. And then we have 3 young rookies and Mike Urena as a new rookie to our team. So half the roster is DMG, like original DMG, who I came here to play for, and half the roster is like, man, I didn't even know these kids before I moved here. So if we can keep this core for a season or 2, if not more, I think you're only going to see a sky's the limit situation for a young, hungry team like this.
I know I've been around this program for about 7 years or so. And like I sit back and I like look, like I'll sit in the pits and I was like, who's like, there's like 3 OGs left in those pits. It's like we got Marv, who's been here since God knows how long. Av's been here since he was like a little kid. Then like I think a year or 2 after I got here, like it was Tim, it was you, and then Nikki and Ao came and left. So it's just like there's not a lot of core guys, like guys that like I remember who were at the field in 2012. And it's just like it shows that like we can grow talent here. Like you look on this program, you'll get good at paintball by practicing here. But it also shows that like it's all you need is like a solid core, that little solid core, like that chemistry. That all you need is that little bit of chemistry, and it spreads. And it's actually kind of cool, to be honest with you. And like, I mean, I don't play anymore, but I'm still like I'm a DMG fanboy, and therefore being a DMG fanboy, I'm also an Impact fanboy, just because they're technically kind of sort of part of the camp, but So, tell me about some like. I know you've done a lot of international tournaments. Like we were talking a little bit off camera and stuff. That like was it 20 countries? Just about every state, every major city in the U.S. Feel free to chime in on this, guys. Like I've never played an international tournament. That was one of my bucket list items to do, and I hope to do it before I'm like too old to run with a paintball gun. But like what was your favorite event? And this is
Amsterdam. Amsterdam is the coolest place. Amsterdam, then Prague, and well, Spain was cool too, but Amsterdam, Prague, and screw France. I'm never going back there.
I agree. It's funny you says that. International paintball is a totally different feel. You know, in the U.S., NXL, PSP, whatever it was, it's very tunnel vision on competition. Half the team's there. As soon as they're done with their match, they just leave the field. They don't even stay around and watch. They just go back to their hotel or whatever. The atmosphere is different in other countries, whether it's Mexico, Europe, Asia, Australia. All those other leagues, people are there all day, every day. There's more stuff to do for people and families that are just hanging out. There's more people that, once again, they're there to compete, but it's a little bit more relaxed too. They're also there to have a good time and have a beer after their games and things like that.
Paintball festival more than it's a paintball tournament.
Exactly.
People are there for the atmosphere, not really because they want to be the best.
And
not that they're not competitive, but
it's just
a better atmosphere as far as like community.
There's a community, there's more balance. A lot of times, you know, people only stick with their own teams here, and, you know, it's like you keep to yourselves. It almost makes everybody seem more introverted. There's more like rivalries between teams. Over there, it's like everybody's kicking it and hanging out. Everybody knows everybody. Maybe the pool's a little smaller in each of those countries. But yeah, like France and England, I'd be happy if I never went back again. It's always poor weather. The food isn't good, and it's very expensive. Amsterdam is the coolest city event. I'd have to agree. I hear Prague is similar, where if you want a very old culture and a lot of history, but like a city setting, those are tough countries to beat. And you're right near like great nightlife and things like that. But my all-time favorite events every single time, like hands down the bucket list events, are Southeast Asia. Thailand and Malaysia events are generally on islands or beaches. And it's like, as soon as you're done playing your game, you hop on your $3 rental moped and just whip around an island, tiki bar to tiki bar, swim in waterfalls with monkeys, and talk to just the friendliest, most humble people I've ever met on this planet. So like, the vibe is incredible because the entire time you feel like you're just kind of like in this dream-esque adventure, loosely based around playing fun paintball.
Yeah. You know, it's always been a goal of mine. Like I've only been to I've been to Thailand once. I've been to Dubai more times than I ever want to go, but not for paintball. When I met my wife, I was trying to convince her, like, look, I can just hop on this international bandwagon. Right, we'll play these international events, and then we'll just use that as a vacation. We'll take an extra week. And she's like, no, because she hates going to paintball tournaments. She hates being second. I guess because I was like, I'm there to play a paintball tournament, and like. But she's like, no, you're not doing that.
That's why I don't bring the wife to tournaments. She wouldn't like it. I'd be ignoring her the whole time.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I try to explain to her, like, look, it's just like, look, let me get this 3-day tournament out of the way, and then we can go do us. And she's like, no, because I'm not going to go to an exotic country, sit around for 3 days at a paintball field that I don't want to be at just to enjoy my vacation later. I want to do it as soon as I get off the plane. Like, fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
If you do,
you go early without her. And she gets to fly.
No, then
late.
she's at home with the dog by herself, and she doesn't want to do all that.
Yeah, that would have been my suggestion: is fly in, play the event, and then have her meet you there, and then you stay the week or two after with her, and now paintball's done. Or hopefully, you have a significant other that's cool enough and comfortable enough adventuring on their own. It's like, well, you don't have to stay at the field all day.
Yeah, you go do stuff.
You could go see this area super safe.
That's how you do it. You bring her friend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You got to pay for 2 tickets, but
yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Well, it's 3 tickets. I got to pay for my own too. But
well, yeah.
But yeah. Well, we're going to Italy in March and stuff like that. So she's kind of getting her international kick. So, so like, what is the best TG story we can do from a paintball tournament?
Man. I can edit this story to be a little more PG.
That works. That works.
Yeah, so last season I did a 2-month backpacking tour throughout Europe. From World Cup, I left straight to New Zealand. Did like 10 days in New Zealand with my Team Ballistics unit. Went to Sydney, Australia for Super 7s. Stayed a few days there, and then went up to Bangkok for 2 days, down to Pattaya 2 or 3 days with my friends Ben Challenger and Harrison Fry, and then to the Pattaya beach area for World Cup Asia. And then we island hopped for 10 islands in a row, a day and a night at each one, and then wake up and leave by noon the next day. Off of, like, below Pattaya is Phuket. It's like a port, and you can take a half-hour, $5 catamaran ride out to Koh Samang, and then Koh Phi Phi, and then blah, 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 bouncing back and forth down this coast until you're finally at the bottom. You take a boat back, and now you're just above Malaysia, and then you go to Kuala Lumpur, and then, what's the island called? The name of the island that the Malaysia event's on. Langkawi. And then you play the Langkawi event, and then after Langkawi I went to Indonesia, but not like touristy Bali. I went to Medan, which is like the big international city, and then took a 2-hour bus ride through the mountains and clouds to Lake Toba, which is like a 100-mile crater lake with a little 5-mile island with a village on it in the middle. And then after a week there, I finally came back to New York for Christmas with my family before I go back to Cali. But in that time period, like, I remember Koh Phi Phi is like my favorite place in the world now. This is probably like a 5-mile something island with like a crescent-shaped bay in the middle of it. And the island is just filled with rows and rows of like shopping centers, restaurants, and like novelty streets. And you can rent mopeds, you can rent cheap jet skis, you can take really cheap snorkeling tours over the reef, and it's a party island. Like Koh Phi, there's a few of them that are like you go there for like your honeymoon, like you go there with your wife. And then there's Koh Phi Phi where you go there and everybody's either very friendly locals or backpackers, like hippies that you can tell have just been at it for months, like very minimalist type people. They don't give a crap about staying in the nice hotel on the island or getting the nice food. they're down to stay in the $3 hostel or pod beds because you're just going to sleep in it for 6 hours, wake up, and adventure around the island anyways. And man, the nights on that, I think we did 2 nights on Koh Phi Phi. We happened to time it where we were there during the Full Moon Festival. The entire beach, there's 3 big party bars in a row. Yeah. Each bar has about 1,000 people out in front of it, like spilling onto like the sand of the beach. And then the beach have stages out over the water, each one with different DJs playing music. The moon is full above you. The water has glowy bioluminescent algae. There's 1 million stars, and there's 2,000 to 3,000 super friendly, very open, social people. So everyone you meet is talkative or down to dance or down to share stories of where they're coming there from because they just came from some other Asian country. And it's like a 48-hour bender of like flawless, smooth flow. No conflict, no drunks stepping on your shoes trying to get in a fight. Just friendly, happy, joyous people because they're having that traveler's high. You know what I mean? Like they're truly living their best days ever because everything is new and curiosity is sparked and it's just adventure. And someday when I have, like reoccurring stable income here, something that's like self-sustaining, I can promise that I'll buy just a little hut with a bedroom, bathroom, and a kitchen on that island and live there when it's winter here. During the off season, I'll live there, have a few mopeds, invite friends to come out and stay with me, and just live the simple happiness life. Status doesn't matter, luxury items doesn't matter. All you need is board shorts and a t-shirt, hop on your scooter, go get a giant $1 rice meal and a coconut, and enjoy your days in the sunshine.
That sounds amazing. I have my brother-in-law got back yesterday he was backpacking across South America for a while. He him, my wife, and like their other siblings, they went to Costa Rica for a week, and then 3 of them came back, and he's like, I'm gonna hop around for a little bit. he got stuck in Ecuador for a while because there's a little mini civil war there for a little bit. He got stuck up in the mountains because he's like, if you went down to the city, you're probably getting arrested. So he hung out up there, and then he came back. He was only back for like 5 months to earn some more money, and then he's going to Australia.
That's cool.
I was like, damn, man, it must be nice. Like now I'm like, well, I've gotten kind of older. I'm in the military, so it's kind of like I can't just like leave months at a time. I wish I could. I mean, I kind of do before the military, so I'm kind of working and all that stuff, and I'm in one place the entire time. But so I just live vicariously through all my backpacking friends. Yeah. So I just I follow them on Instagram and I follow all the stories and stuff like that, and
it's cool.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's something I wish I wanted to do. But it's I never made the opportunity for myself, so it's just like it's fun. Like I'll take my international trips when I can, and stuff. I'm still gonna go see cool shit and stuff, but
you still have plenty of time. You're still a young guy.
Yeah.
And that's another thing is like I always say like it's different strokes for different folks. You know what I mean? Like you can't tell somebody like you're living life wrong because some people have a wife or kids or a mortgage that they're paying off or a sweet job that they're 10 years away from getting that big 401k and all that. But if there's anything I can tell to anybody who listens to this podcast that's not anchored down by anything else, you don't own a house, you don't have a wife, you're not planning on starting your family, this life, you only live so long. And the world is a big place. And you want to make sure you see as much of it as you can before you die. Because you won't take anything else with you, but you will have all those memories scrolling through your head in that last hour or day of life. So really, really do it. Like step outside of your comfort zone and chase it while you can. I wish I had started doing it even earlier, but if there's one thing I'm thankful for, it's that I didn't get accidentally trapped by one of my ex-crazy girlfriends, or that I didn't take that sweet marketing job I got offered right when I graduated from UB, because there were all these things that on paper they're great things. There's nothing bad with them, but they would have stopped me from really experiencing so much and culturing myself to the point where like I really know how things are, rather than just thinking I know how they are from what's portrayed to me in the media, in TV, in news, and in what people tell you. You have to really go out and see it firsthand with your own perspective to be like, wow, people over there really are great. Oh, this place isn't dangerous because it's not a first world country. Like, it's it's a very different world out there, and I just want to see every inch of it.
Yeah, you know. Well, I'm kind of happy I had you on. Like, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. We're gonna right about an hour, and I know you guys gotta go snowboarding. So
on to the next trip.
On to the next trip. So yeah, you know what? You know, man, I'm very happy I had you on here. You're a very interesting guy. Hopefully have you back soon. Talk some more, drink some more beer.
Anytime.
Yeah. But yeah. So thanks. Anything you want to plug? Instagrams, blogs, anything?
Yeah, I guess. Shout out to all my friends and family in the DMG organization. The reason I moved out here and made Northern California my actual home, if I were to claim one somewhere on this planet. I love all you guys. You're the reason that I do ground myself here for at least half the year. Shout out to all my friends and family, fans, supporters, anybody who's ever believed in me and didn't tell me you'll never make it, pros too much, blah, blah, blah. Anybody who's ever helped as far as all my sponsors on any team I was on, but also including current ones for DMG, GI Sports, Planet Eclipse, Weapons, Capital Edge Paintball Park, of course, and Dave Baines, Virtue, anybody else I'm missing, I apologize. Shout out to the base community for giving me something to do when I'm not playing paintball. I love NorCal. I love all you festival goers, all the positive vibrations up here in this region of the world. It's totally different from the East Coast, and it makes me feel very, very happy. I love y'all. And follow my stories and life on Instagram at Joe Barrett 50. My Facebook is just my name. You can find my travel blog on my Instagram bio. And big shout out to Enzo here for having a cool podcast.
Yeah, thanks.
And some good beer.
Yep.
And good beer.
Yeah,
Good beer.
Yeah. So yeah, just be sure to check us out on respect_your_beer on Instagram. It's Respect Your Beer on YouTube if you're listening to this on audio for the video version. What else? Oh, check out the Twitter at Respect Your Beer.